Welcome student. Today we are discussing about different special casting process for manufacturing process subject. In principle of special casting process, different types of special casting process are using. First one is the cell molding casting. In cell molding casting is the semi price method or producing small casting in large number. The process involves the use of match plate pattern similar to cope and drag patterns, which are used in the green sand molding casting. Initially, the pattern are machined from copper alloy or aluminum or cast iron, depends upon the life of the pattern. They are made with the usually allowed and polishing surface, then the attached metal will be metal. The mold metal contains 5 to 10 percentage of phenolic resin mixture with the fine dry silica. The ore mixture there either dry oil or alcohol. It should be noted to the no water use. The pattern is heated around 230 to 600 degrees centigrade and the sand resin mixture either dumped glowed over the surface. Sometimes the prevent the stick or sand pattern. A release agent silicon is sprayed over the hot pattern. The heated pattern metal is the hot to the resin. The result in bonding of sand grains closely together from the cell around the pattern. After the specific time 20 to 30 seconds, the pattern and sand are immersed. A normal cell thickness of 6 mm can be obtained. The several time will be maintaining the temperature or 20 to 30 seconds it will be. After attaining the 6 mm thickness, the extra sand which is not attracted to the cell is removed. In this thickness of the cell is depends upon the required length and the rigidity of hold of weight of liquid molded to be poured in the mold cavity. After completing this process, the mold will be heated in the oven around 300 degrees centigrade up to 15 to 60 seconds. The curing make to cell the rigid when it will be stripped over the mill. And some of the advantages and applications and limitations are available for the cell molding process itself. Next, investment casting process. Investment casting process, another one name is lost wax method casting process also. Yeah, investment casting process is making a ceramic slurry. The slurry covered invest can be dripped into alternating coating of sand and slurry even until a suitable thickness of cell is achieved. Then that can hold the molten metal after the investment but out. The burn out the process required that the investment and coating are invested in an oven that will be heated around 1800 Fahrenheit temperature. It will investment can be flow out the recover of refractory coating also reduce produce. Once the investment is lost for the recovery, refractory is covered. The mold will removed and cured. The method also called as precision investment casting method it is. The method involves the use of expandable pattern with a cell of refractory material surrounded to form a casting mold. Since the pattern made up of wax is molted out and get destroyed, that is why the name lost wax method. This is a step-by-step diagram for making a lost wax. In this process, set of process will sequence of process will be handled. First one, making a wax pattern and assembly of wax pattern in the common wax pure. Next, coated the cluster for the slurry tip. After heating the wax, after fulfill the mold cavity into the cell one. The allow the investment fully hardening, the supporting of heat and drying one. Heating around 500 Fahrenheit will be heating. Some applications are there for the casting. Next, ceramic mold casting or hope and drag investment casting or plaster molding. The ceramic molding casting used permanent pattern made up of plaster, plastic, wood, metal or rubber. Utilize the fine grained silicon and high alumina multiple slurry molding. These slurries are comparable in composition to those used in investment casting. Like the investment mold ceramic mold are expandable. However, unlike the monolithic mold obtaining in investment casting, ceramic mold consists of a hoop and drag setup. The principle of ceramic mold the made up of plaster or Paris with the addition of toxic or silica floor to improve the strength and to control the time required for the faster set this component. One of the most popular of the ceramic mold techniques is the show process. A reusable pattern is placed inside the slightly tapered the flask, and the slurry like mixing of refractory arranged heterogeneous ethical silicate alcohol and getting the agent of curing on top. The mixture said to be a rubby state that permit removal of the pattern and the flask. This is the diagram of preparing the ceramic molding. Next, pressure die casting process. It is previously casting process 1 and also machine casting process 1. Expandable molding will be preparing. For the diagram, they are used whether most broken in order to obtain the casting. The die casting process, the mold used for making a casting permanent called die. In this process, the molten metal is forced into the mold cavity under the high pressure. The pressure is used to casting a low melting temperature material like aluminium and silicon alloy, zinc alloy based, etc. The die casting carried out following step by assembly work. The molten metal forced under the pressure in the assembled die. The die is water cooled, so the molten metal cool down immediately because the solid state will be arranged. The die is opened when the finished casting is ejected by ejector pin supported. The process will be continuously making for very high rate. This is a pressure die casting process condition, and it will be conducted for 3 different types of pressure die casting. First one hot chamber die casting, second one cold chamber die casting, and gravity die casting. It is a hot chamber die casting diagram. It will be applying for molten metal will be producing the supporting of burner as well as the plunger setup. All the setup will be in the same condition. So it is called as a hot chamber die casting process. And second, it will be operating pressure around 15 megapascal per meter square value will be using for the high pressure for hot chamber die casting process. Next one, the cold chamber die casting process. Here not having any furnace setup or molten metal creating setup. Here the molten metal will be preparing any other place like furnace, and ladle will be transfer molten metal from furnace to chamber. So it is called as a cold chamber die casting. Further all other work will be conducting in the same for the pressure die casting process like a hot chamber die casting process itself. And next one is a gravity die casting process. The gravity die casting is also called the permanent mold casting. The mold is generally made up of 2 halves. They are rigid at the one edge. These are provided for clamping them together at the other end. A permanent mold is necessary for producing large number of castings similar shape. This is nothing but one. And next one, centrifugal casting. Centrifugal casting is mainly used to making a hollow casting such as pipes using for without using of core. In this process, the metal mold is made up of rotating mold is mounted on the rail, and it will be moving continuously as well as randomly rotated. The trolley move over rail. The end of the mold is closed by end core to prevent the flow of metal. The metal is poured into the mold through the long pot. The mold is rotated by the electric motor and mechanical means well as the means of axially on the rail. Due to centrifugal force, the molten metal is through the wall of the mold. The outside of the mold is water cooled, so the molten metal immediately solidifies. The centrifugal casting method is used to producing cylindrical and symmetrical object. Then next, the special casting process like CO2 molding process. CO2 like carbon dioxide molding or core are used to make a good quality of casting in large number. The core used making the CO2 process method is dry sand mixing for solution and sodium silicate generally mixing of the Muller. The sand mixer is rammed in the core box. Rammed core will be in the core box created to the 30 seconds of the pause for 130 to 140 kilopascal of CO2 gas. Like so the silica will be making the silica gel and it will be contact the good strength to prevent the core sand and it will be harder to the other ones. So the just 30 seconds it will be making the core. Very fast method of for making a core in the CO2 core making process. Next one, stir casting process. The stir casting process will be produce the molten metal and especially the stir casting process will be used for making a molten metal in composite molten metal. For different stages of metal will be mixing with the help of homogeneously mixing with the supporting of stir casting and it will be producing the composite material. The construction of stir casting process shown in the figure having the one stir and control unit, motor, spear and temperature monitoring and control and furnace and impurities. All other units will be set up like the diagram and the furnace will be heated above the melting temperature of the raw material and it will be molten stage form. After that the stir will be loaded to stirring continuously, so the different materials will be mixing homogeneously and make one new composite material, that is using of stir casting process. Okay, thank you.